Hi everyone. I wanted to come to you today and talk gear. Gear is something that I think all people in preparation for a thru hike are thinking about. I know for me, when I was planning for my thru hike a year ago, I was tying up all my gear choices. I had basically everything I needed to go for a late March start. And I still was watching videos of YouTubers, what they brought, what worked for them, what may not have worked for them, looking at reviews, making last minute changes. And I did do that throughout some of the trail. So I want to show you today what worked for me. I saw some really great luxury items out there. I saw people with chairs. A good friend of ours was carrying a kettle. There was just all kinds of things. I want to show you today what worked for me, what I carried all 2,198.4 miles on my 2023 thru hike, and what worked for me, what didn't work for me, what I sent home, what I wish I would have brought, and we'll go from there. So we're going to start first with my backpack. My backpack is the 50-liter light thru pack from Waymark. Waymark is not a popular brand on the Appalachian Trail, but I did meet some people that said that it was really, really popular on the PCT. I'm not sure why. The pack took some adjusting for me. It's worked really great for me. On the outside of the pack, I had the Gossamer foam case, and that took me the whole way. I had my dog's collar, and I had from Etsy, I had this water bottle holder, and I always had a 2-liter Smart water bottle in here with a sports cap. I don't have one right now, but that's what was always in here. We had my first gear mishap was this, and if you see there, I had this ripped right off of my pack, so I used this little carabine, and my husband sewed it for me, and it lasted the entire way. That happened at Mountain Crossings, mile 31. So that held up the whole entire way. The Waymark has two really huge waist belt little packs, and those were fine. They sit back a little far, so I always had my fanny pack. I started with the Gossamer fanny pack, but when I was at Trail Days, Light AF was there, and they had thousands of these, and they are made with Dyneema. So they're way more waterproof than my Gossamer was. So I sent that home. I still have it, but that'll be more for everyday use. In there, I always had my ultralight wallet. I had a baggie for my trash. This still says Queen of Hearts. I always had a trash bag in my fanny pack for wrappers. My headlamp, which this is the Night Core. It's not the lightweight one, the 25L. Anyhow. Nightcore took me all the way. It was amazing. It is rechargeable. I would charge that every time I went into town. You definitely want the red light, so you're going to use that in camps. So make sure your headlamp has a red light. And then carried the Appalachian Trail passport all the way to Maine, Georgia to Maine, and I filled 2. So if you don't know about the Appalachian Trail passport, check it out. This was just something to feed my momentum. Every time I went into town, I would search for people that had the Appalachian Trail passport. A lot of hostels did, post offices, so I could see in these books when I got resupply sent to me, when I got my shoes sent to me, all the hostels along the way, so I could send some thank you cards. It's worth it. So that was always in here in a baggie because everything gets wet. So that's the Waymark backpack. I had little tidbits of advice. These are on Amazon. They're just large safety pins. We all had these on our pack, and this is where I would hang wet socks, bandanas, anything in my pack that nothing usually dries, but at least there was a better chance for it to be on the outside and kind of the dirt kind of roll off and all that good stuff. So the Waymark, I also had these 2 pockets put on, and I'll show you what I put in those 2 pockets. I got the extra long on one side, and I got this, actually 1 pocket, excuse me. I had this top pocket put on, so this side has 2 pockets. Okay, sleeping bag, quilt. I went with the Enlightened Equipment 20-degree quilt. I got the Convert, which is actually, it's a traditional sleeping bag with the zipper up the front, but it also comes with the straps for the quilt. It's got an open toe box that you can cinch shut, because sometimes I would be in this and I would literally walk outside in it. I'd have it all zipped up, my feet out, tied around, and I would just literally mummy walk to have my coffee, outside by a sunrise. Oh, this thing was my best, most favorite piece of gear. It was bright and happy, so every single morning I'd wake up to just bright, happy color. You can actually customize them on their website. I washed it for the first time 6 months and 10 days after my hike. And for the first time, I got some down laundry soap, and I followed the directions. I hung it to dry, all the down. It's lofty again. It never ever once smelled on trail because liner. I got, this was one of my gear changes when I went out on trail. When I went out on trail, I actually had the alpaca sleeping bag liner. It is a whopping 16 ounces, and I was so afraid to be cold in those Georgia mountains, and it was chilly in the Georgia mountains, but 69 miles in at Around the Bend Hostel, Gordon and Lisa have a beautiful gear shop. They have everything, shoes, backpacks, everything. And they also had these liners. So this liner here saved me about 8 ounces. It's merino, and it was perfect for the summer. I would add this, I would lay on top of this, and I would sleep inside of this, or I would always be inside of this if I was inside of this. A lot of times I use this as a quilt, just draped it over me, and this combination was absolutely perfect. So I would recommend bringing a liner of something. I use this also as a laundry bag in town. I'd put all my laundry in it and I'd wash everything. So that was perfect. Highly, highly recommend Enlightened Equipment. I love it so much. My husband and I were sharing a tent, so we went with the Tigerwall UL3 bike packing tent. Now the difference with the bike packing tent and the Tigerwall UL3 is about 5 ounces of weight, and what we liked was that these are the poles. So I carried the poles in the tent, and always 5 stakes. My job was to make sure I had my 5 stakes in the morning. And we carried this the entire trail. We did do one practice shakedown hike for 4 days with it. Would we go with this tent again? Probably not. We did have an issue with our poles, and we contacted Big Agnes and we never heard back. This is not to down talk Big Agnes, because I know people on trail that did get a response back. So for the entire trail, we had, the splint that comes with your tent. Bring it. Keep it. Don't lose it. It brought us about, I want to say, over halfway through the trail. So we did decide that if we were ever to do something like this, a smaller thru hike, any type of thru hike, that we would probably do separate tents. That's another whole topic. But we did love our tent as far as we could take the rain fly off. He carried the rain fly, the ground cover, and the actual tent. And I carried the poles and rain fly. So he had the tent and anyway, you get it. We loved taking off the rain fly on nice nights or beautiful mornings or afternoon naps or whatever. We loved taking that off, and you could see the stars, and really, really, that was a nice luxury with this. It's a semi-freestanding tent. And yeah, it took us all the way. I don't think these are not supposed to be set up and taken down as much as they were. So I have to always, always remember that with all the gear. Another very important piece of gear is my Nemo tensor, regular and wide, sleeping pad. Now, I started with the Nemo, I guess it was insulated or ultra, it was orange. I started with that and it had a valve issue and it was very common. So I contacted Nemo, they gave me a credit and I ordered this. That happened pretty early on. This pad was probably about 2,000 miles of trail it lasted. Most of the gear mishap started at the beginning. So that was nice that the Nemo got back to me and this one seemed better. It's a tricky valve. It's hard to put in and out. And if you have it, you'll probably know what I mean. It takes a little bit of effort to separate the main valve from the blow up part. It worked. Probably we were in Massachusetts and I had a huge hole and Habits patched it up for me in the middle of a rainstorm. I'll never forget. So that was fine for the rest of the way. Okay. Cook system. Now, that's another thing I sent home. I went out with a 550 milliliter pot and a 700. I believe this is a 750. The reason was I thought I would want my own cup for my coffee. I don't want to eat out of the same cup that I drink coffee out of. Well, this went home. I just kept with this one. I did everything I had to do in this one pot. In town at the Dollar General, I would try to get like a little scrubby because I loved the feeling of feeling like my pot was clean. It's pretty clean. This thing lasted me the whole way. I got the ultralight stove and that would spit out a little fuel sometimes, but other than that, it was just this little, and it went on and I would cook. So I thought I would need two. I ended up with one. This mat. Now originally this here was on standby at home and my people knew to cut it in half or send us one and we would cut them in half if these didn't work out. But I'm here to say, to have this on top of your backpack or to have this on top of your backpack, and this is equally as efficient, except this is a little more comfortable, I would say, because it's got, you got the egg crate. This acted as a stretching mat. It acted as a drying mat. It acted as a sit pad. I put it underneath my sleeping pad every single night. It got beat up. This is Mountain Laurel Designs. I ended up with them, with this one, because at the time, the Gossamer mat was sold out. They're very similar, I think, almost exact. So I'm here to say, if you're looking for a sit pad, this is great. And to me, I have no regrets on this one. And I feel like if you brought one of these or half of one of these, you would not regret it. I'm actually charging my phone as I record. So if you see, I have this long iPhone charger, and that came in clutch on trail because sometimes you'd have your plug all the way over there and you want to lay down over here or whatever. And that worked good. That worked really good. And then this is just a Nightcore charger. I myself went through 3 chargers on trail because I had a lot of things that I was charging. And yeah, this is the Hilltops food bag. Now, Hilltop packs? Yeah, Hilltop packs. And I know on their website you can customize these as well because we had friends on trail that had customized bags with like a picture or whatever, but we actually had these before trail. I think we used them for a whole season of just overnights. And you hang it. I carried a bear line for, I'm not gonna lie, maybe through New York. And then I just started using Xena and Habit's bear hang, and I would just, here, put this on yours, because mine got really disgusting. And the ropes, anyhow, the bear hangs are another whole separate topic as well. There's so many separate thoughts on all that, and you're gonna have to get out there and see what you feel. But I used these for my trash. I always had 3 of these in my food bag, so all food went inside of these. Yeah, so this worked out great. I never had critters. I never had a mouse get into my food, snacks, nothing, and I never had a bear take me out from my food either. So I call that a win. I would recommend, once you start carrying out more food, I would have got a size bigger. But as far as durability, they're Dyneema. If it rained, I always had my food inside these, like I said, inside the bag. So it would be really stuffed, and I would put it in a different stuff sack inside the stuff sack if it was raining, or if it even got hung up that night. You know, I'll never tell. You get out there and you do your thing with the food. You be safe. You make sure you leave no trace. And I promise you, I can almost promise you, is probably very slim chance that the bears are going to get to your food either in the tree or in your tent.
Once you get up the trail, you start to realize that the food carry is really where all your weight lies.
Black diamond, cork-handled trekking poles. These babies, or this baby, took me all the way to Maine, Georgia to Maine. I lost the one that matches this, and 4 days later I found the same exact trekking pole in a shelter, and that's the magic of the trail. It doesn't go up and down anymore, and I kept my original tip, but this one didn't have one, but it didn't matter. I just needed another pole. So I highly recommend the Black Diamond trekking poles, cork handled. They have some wear, but I'm gonna keep using them. I have one little piece here that came out, but that's not even on mine. That was on the one that I found. So great. And this is pair number 7, Ultra Lone Peak. I wore them the entire way, except I got a pair of Topos just somewhere in Virginia, and those were amazing. But when I tried to get another pair of Topos, those didn't work out as good. So I 7 pairs total on trail, and these I got at Shaw. So right before the 100-mile wilderness, so I needed another pair more than I thought. I thought I got my last pair in New Hampshire, but yeah, that was important to me, and I feel like I'm injury free because I was really up on changing my shoes out. Clothes. As far as clothes go, this bag right here, I packed it all up just to show you what I started with, and I'm going to show you what I finished with. So this was every day. Pair of shorts, merino wool bra, darn tough socks, and a black tank top, just a Under Armour black tank top. So that was every single day. That was the hiking clothes. I also, when I went out on trail, I had merino leggings for bed. I had an extra pair of shorts. I had an extra tank top. I had an extra sports bra, and I had a black long sleeve merino wool, like a base layer just from Amazon, just a long sleeve shirt. What I ended up keeping is that shirt, 1, 2, 3 pairs of darn tough socks, and bed socks. Now, I decided on extra socks while on trail because it was just such a wet season. My feet were getting beat up. I decided it was worth sending my pants, my shorts, my tank top, and my bra home for the extra socks, and I kept the long sleeve the one tank top, the shorts, and this. In North Carolina, I had a town outfit that I got at some vintage cool little shop. And I sent that home as soon as it got too warm to wear in towns. And as soon as I realized that every single hostel has loaner clothes. Every hostel. So after we stopped staying at hotels and started staying at all hostels, I didn't need that town outfit, so I sent that home because that was really a cool outfit. And yeah, so I was able to shed a whole entire outfit, and that went home. I did have typical rain gear. These are $16.99. I looked them up today. Ballerina pants on Amazon. I had seen a review years ago, tried them out at home, and the only thing I did to these was I had some zippers put on the bottom so that my shoes could get in and out easy. These were magnificent. I learned quickly that rain gear is really for the wind, because if your rain gear is too warm, you are going to just sweat underneath it. I had a Columbia rain jacket I sent home thinking, because I wasn't using it that much, and I ended up grabbing another one in a hiker box, and I wore it a lot of the way, and it ripped, and I had this one sent back to me. This is just Columbia. I got it at Marshall's or TJ Maxx, and it was just a basic shell. Wind. I think these are more for the wind than the rain. You can add it. It repels the water. I did use the durable water repellent spray on it twice. I sprayed them halfway through the trail when I got them back. So these worked great. I carried the Melanzana as my mid layer. I wore it all the way through Virginia. I sent it home in West Virginia. My son came out to visit us, and he swapped it out for my Senchi. Senchi's half the weight. So the Melly comes in at like 12 ounces for size medium, and the medium Senchi comes in at like 4 or 5, and it's lighter. And I love them both. And believe it or not, New Hampshire, when we got back home to our home state, I got this back because it's warmer. I think it's warmer. It's got the draw, the neck. And I got this thing on Poshmark about 4 years ago. I guess it was during the time when Melanzana was not making them. You had to have an appointment in Colorado to get one. And I found this on Poshmark used, and this was the best. So I had the rain gear, the mid layer, and the Patagonia puffer. The Nano Puffer is amazing. Don't get it wet. Always wear it. That's why your wind shell or your rain gear is important. I found that I wore that more than this. This got wet once, and it was useless to me for about 4 days. So I loved it for warmth. Once I realized when I could wear it, it was much better for me, because I always wanted to put it on because I just felt safe in it. It's so comfortable and it's lightweight. So I recommend the Patagonia Nano Puffer. Hood. Get a hood. It's worth it. You need your hoods more than you can imagine. Let's see. My trail name, Queen of Hearts. I got this at mile 300. A friend of mine brought this to my son, and he mailed it out to me. So this was my trademark hat on trail. It reminded people of my trail names, and I was struggling keeping this. I had tape on it because it wasn't, so I thought I was going to send this home, and I did. Sent it home in New Hampshire. Found this in a hiker box and thought I wanted to wear it because it worked really good for my friend Smokemaster, and other friends on trail had these hats, and I kept thinking I was falling because the vision, like it came down so much. But this was worse. Oh my gosh. So this thing, I don't even know how it ended up getting here. I think I must have thrown it in a box in New Hampshire and sent it home. But my mom sent this back, and it was about 100 miles that I didn't wear this. But so that went home. The entire way used the Katahdin Be Free. The popular filter was the Sawyer squeeze. This worked amazing for me. I changed this out halfway and got another one. So this was my third one for the whole 2,100 miles, 2198.4. And then this is my extra 2-liter bag, and it fits on there. This is a different company. This is the Hydro Pack, but it is compatible with the Katahdin. So it was nice. I could carry to camp a couple liters for dinner and breakfast, and I could camel up and just put this filter on this. So this worked perfect for me. And I always had a smart water bottle, and sometimes I had a smaller mixing bottle, I called it, for like breakfast essentials with coffee, or any of my juice electrolyte mixes I didn't want to put into my water bottle. So I usually would have another one that was a smarter, like maybe 500 milliliters, I think, not the 2-liter. But I learned quick that, well, it just saves you a lot of frustration if you find yourself a water filtration system that's as quick as it can be. Yeah. I always had my trowel, and for the first maybe 1,000, 1,200 miles, I also carried baby wipes, always some toilet paper, and other things that I decided that I did not need for my thru hike were, again, personal preference. My gaiters went home. My cooler cloth went home. My buff went home. My winter hat went home until I got to the New Hampshire Old Colony Ski Club. Jenny, innkeeper Jen, gave us hats, fun hats. Depending on my audience, I would turn it around. And sometimes I'd forget on the videos, but it had a crude comment. And it was really fun because we actually met other people that got the hats too when they saw Jenny. So, same hat, and it was just cool. So I ended up with another beanie at the end of New Hampshire, and that's when I needed it. So that worked out really good. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put everything together and show you, out of all this stuff I just showed you, I'm gonna pack my pack and show you how it was all put in there.
So before I show you how I packed my backpack each and every day, that here in the red sack is my sleeping bag, clothes bag, rain fly, poles, electronics. This was definitely heavier. My foam pad, my rain gear, Melanzano, baseball cap, mattress, water filters, fanny pack, empty, food bag, stove, liner, camp shoes, poles, shoes.
Put my original one in a shadow box. So lots of mementos from the AT, but most of them are going to live in your heart, and each and every step on the journey, no matter what gear you bring with you, is going to be unique and all your own. And I am green with envy. I'm green with envy because this year, it seems like such a short time ago that I was doing what all y'all must be doing right now, and that's planning for your thru hike. So I wish you the best of luck. If you have any questions for me, I also would love to share our AT journey with you. I posted videos weekly from trail, and I was learning YouTube out there. So there was no rhyme or reason to when it was posted, but I'm trying now to bring you a video every Wednesday, either post-trail life, post-trail advice, post-trail experience, hostels, etc. I want to I want to stay in this community. So thanks for joining me, and we'll be back next week.